Before you rush into this day, stop for just one moment. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breathing slow. Whatever is waiting for you out there, the deadlines, the decisions, the noise of the world, it can wait a few more minutes. Because right now you and I are going to sit quietly before the Lord together. Scripture reminds us in Psalm 118:24, "This is the day the Lord has made, let us rejoice and be glad in it." Not the day you planned, not the day you're afraid of, the day He made, with His hand already over it, His favor already moving through it, and His protection already surrounding you before you even opened your eyes. There is something sacred about beginning the day here, before the phone, before the to-do list, before the world gets its voice in. Right now, it's just you and your Father. And He has been waiting for you, not with impatience, but with the kind of love that never grows tired of your company. Isaiah 26:3 tells us that He will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are fixed on Him. So let your mind settle here. Let this moment be the anchor that holds you steady no matter what today brings. Maybe today feels uncertain. Maybe there's a meeting you're dreading, a relationship that feels strained, a bill that's due, a decision you don't know how to make. Bring it here. Set it down gently at His feet. You don't have to carry it alone into this day. He never asked you to. Philippians 4:6 says not to be anxious about anything, but in every situation through prayer to let your requests be made known to God. So breathe out the worry, breathe in His peace. He already knows what you need before you even ask. And as you sit here, let faith rise in your heart, quiet but strong. Believe with me that today carries breakthrough. Believe that favor is going before you, opening doors you didn't even know were closed. Believe that protection surrounds you like a shield, that no weapon formed against you will prosper, that the plans God has for you are good, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Let that truth settle deep into your spirit this morning, because it is not just a feeling, it is a promise. Before you step out into whatever today holds, let's agree together in prayer, right here, right now, that this day belongs to the Lord, and so do you. If this moment brought you peace, would you like this video and subscribe to the channel so we can meet here again tomorrow for daily prayer? Write Amen in the comments if you're believing God with me today, and tell me, what is the one thing you're trusting Him for this morning? I'd love to stand in agreement with you. Now gently, let's begin. Before you rush into this day, stop for just one moment and think about how much you already carry before your feet even touch the floor. The unknown, the unanswered questions, the things you cannot control no matter how tightly you try to hold them. And yet here you are, invited into a quieter way of living, a way where you do not have to know everything in order to walk in peace. Because the God who holds eternity in His hands is also holding this ordinary, unremarkable Tuesday morning. He is not distant from the small details of your life. He is not waiting somewhere far off, only stepping in when the big moments arrive. He is here, in this quiet room, in this unfinished cup of coffee, in this breath you just took. And He already knows everything this day will bring. Trusting Him with your day does not mean pretending you have no fears. It does not mean pretending the uncertainty isn't real. It means bringing that uncertainty honestly into His presence and choosing, gently, to lay it down instead of carrying it alone. Proverbs 3:5-6 says it so simply, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight." Notice it doesn't say trust Him with the parts of your day that feel safe and manageable. It says all your heart, all your ways, even the parts you don't understand yet, even the meeting that makes your stomach tighten, even the phone call you're waiting for, even the silence where you wish you had an answer and don't. There is a kind of exhausting labor in trying to manage a day before it has even started, replaying conversations that haven't happened yet, rehearsing outcomes, bracing for disappointment before disappointment has even shown up. Maybe you know this labor well. Maybe your mind was already running through today's list before you opened your eyes this morning. But listen closely. You were not created to carry tomorrow's weight with today's strength. And you were never meant to walk ahead of God, scouting out every danger on your own. Matthew 6:34 gently reminds us not to worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Today has enough trouble of its own. That is not a command to be careless. It is an invitation to be present. Present with God, present in this moment. Present enough to notice that His grace is sized exactly for today, not for every future scenario your mind can imagine. Surrendering the unknown does not mean surrendering control you never actually had. It means finally admitting the truth, that control was always somewhat of an illusion, and peace was always found not in certainty, but in nearness to Him. Think of how a small child walks beside a parent through a crowded place. The child does not know the route. The child cannot see around the corner. The child has no idea what waits at the end of the street. And yet the child walks calmly, because their hand is being held by someone who does know the way. That is the posture your Father is inviting you into this morning. Not the posture of a soldier trying to map out every threat, but the posture of a beloved child, walking unafraid because of whose hand you are holding. Psalm 32:8 carries a tender promise for mornings exactly like this one. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye upon you. Did you notice that? Not a distant, calculating eye watching to catch your mistakes, but a loving eye, warm and attentive, watching over you today with the same tenderness a parent has for a child taking their first uncertain steps. You are not walking into today unseen. You are not walking into today unguided. Even in the parts of the day that feel unclear to you right now, they are not unclear to Him. He already stands at the end of this day, looking back at you with love, inviting you to trust the steps in between. Trusting God with your day is also an act of quiet worship, even if no one else ever sees it. It is the surrender that happens internally, in the stillness before you speak your first word to another person, in the choice to breathe slowly instead of anxiously, in the decision to whisper, I trust you, even when your circumstances haven't changed yet. This is not blind optimism. This is not pretending everything is fine when it isn't. This is choosing, deliberately and gently, to place your unanswered questions into hands far more capable than your own. Isaiah 41:10 says, Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Read that slowly. Uphold you. Not simply comfort you from a distance, but hold you up, steady you, keep you from falling apart when today feels heavier than you expected. Maybe you are walking into a day with a decision looming over you, and you don't know which direction to take. Maybe you are walking into a day with someone whose words might wound you, and you don't know how to protect your heart. Maybe you are simply walking into an ordinary day. Nothing dramatic on the surface, but your spirit feels tired in a way you can't quite explain. Wherever you find yourself this morning, hear this gently. You do not have to figure it all out right now. You do not have to solve today before it has even begun. You only have to trust the one who already knows how it unfolds, and take the next step in front of you with Him. There is a stillness that comes when you stop trying to control the outcome and instead rest in the character of the one who holds it. Not stillness because nothing is happening, but stillness because you know who is walking with you through what is happening. Trusting God with your day means believing that His timing is not late, His plans are not careless, and His presence is not conditional on how well the day goes. It means believing that even the parts of today you cannot yet see are already known to Him, already held by Him, already woven into a story that is far bigger than what your eyes can see this morning. So let your grip loosen this morning. Let go of the need to know every outcome before it happens. Let go of the anxious rehearsals playing in your mind. Instead, picture yourself placing today gently into His hands, not because you are certain of what will happen, but because you are certain of who holds it. Let there be a quiet exhale in your spirit right now, a soft release of everything you were carrying before you even sat down for this moment. Today is not an unknown to be feared. Today is an invitation to walk closely with the God who already sees the whole of it, who already loves you in the middle of it, and who is already preparing to meet you in every step you are about to take. Before you rush into this day, stop for just one moment and notice how quickly the world tries to pull you into motion before you've even had a chance to breathe. The alarm sounds, and suddenly there is a pressure to move fast, to think fast, to already be 3 steps ahead of where you are. But here, in this quiet space, you are being invited into something different, not a life of rushing from one demand to the next, but a life rooted in peace, the kind of peace that does not depend on how calm your circumstances are, but on how close you are to the one who is peace itself. This morning is not asking you to hurry toward him. It is asking you to rest in him, right where you are, exactly as you are. Anxiety has a way of convincing us that if we just think hard enough, plan far enough ahead, worry thoroughly enough, we can somehow prevent the things we fear. But anxiety was never meant to be the engine that drives your day. Philippians 4:6-7 offers something so much gentler. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Notice that this peace is not something you manufacture through effort. It is something that guards you, stands watch over your heart and mind like a quiet sentry, keeping out what would otherwise overwhelm you, if only you will bring your requests to him instead of carrying them alone in silence. There is a particular kind of tiredness that comes not from physical labor, but from the constant internal noise of worry, the mind that never fully rests, the shoulders that stay tense even in stillness, the heart that races even when the body sits still. Maybe you know this tiredness well. Maybe you have grown so used to carrying it that you've forgotten what it feels like to exist without it. But your Father did not design you to live in that constant state of bracing. He designed you for rest, not the absence of responsibility, but the presence of trust so deep that responsibility no longer has to feel like a weight crushing you from the inside. Psalm 46:10 speaks so tenderly into this moment. Be still and know that I am God. Not be productive and know that I am God. Not be anxious and know that I am God. Be still. There is something the enemy of your peace does not want you to discover, and it is this: that stillness is not weakness, and slowing down is not falling behind. Stillness is where you remember who God is. It is where the noise fades just enough for you to hear his voice again, clear and steady, reminding you that he is not rushed, he is not panicked, and he is not pacing anxiously wondering how today will turn out. He already knows. And his peace is available to you the moment you stop long enough to receive it. Rushing often comes from a quiet, unspoken fear. The fear that if we slow down, something will fall apart. Someone will be disappointed. An opportunity will slip away. But listen closely this morning. Peace is not the reward you get after you've solved every problem. Peace is the gift you receive before the problems are solved, because it was never meant to depend on your circumstances lining up perfectly. John 14:7 says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid." The peace the world offers is conditional. It comes and goes depending on how well things are going. But the peace Jesus offers is different. It is steady even in the storm. It is present even in uncertainty. It does not ask your circumstances to change first before it takes residence in your heart. Think about how differently a day unfolds when it begins in anxious rushing versus when it begins in quiet trust. The anxious morning moves fast but accomplishes little peace. Thoughts scattered, heart racing, decisions made from a place of fear rather than clarity. But the morning that begins in stillness, even if it starts slower, carries a steadiness through the hours that follows you into every conversation, every task, every unexpected turn. This is not about having more time. It is about beginning from a different place, beginning from rest instead of striving, from trust instead of fear, from his presence instead of your own limited strength. Maybe today holds something that has been keeping you anxious for days now. a conversation you're dreading, a result you're waiting for, a situation that feels entirely outside of your control. It is easy, in moments like these, to let your mind spin in circles, trying to prepare for every possible outcome. But hear this gently: you were never asked to carry the full weight of tomorrow's uncertainty on today's shoulders. 1 Peter 5:7 says to cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Cast it, not manage it carefully on your own, not analyze it from every angle until you feel a false sense of control, but cast it, release it, hand it over completely to the one who is far more capable of carrying it than you are. There is a gentleness in the way God invites us to rest, never through force, never through condemnation for how anxious we've become, but through invitation. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest, Jesus says in Matthew 11:28. Not I will give you a to-do list for managing your burden more efficiently. I will give you rest. True, deep, soul-level rest. The kind that has nothing to do with how much sleep you got last night and everything to do with how close you are letting yourself come to him this morning. Peace, real peace, is not the absence of a storm around you. It is the presence of an unshakable calm within you, because you know who holds the wind and the waves. The disciples once found themselves in a violent storm, terrified, convinced they were about to drown, while Jesus slept peacefully in the same boat. His peace was not dependent on the storm calming first. His peace was rooted in who he was, regardless of what raged around him. And when he rose and spoke to the storm, it obeyed him instantly. That same peace, that same authority is not distant from you this morning. It lives in you, available to you, waiting for you to stop rushing long enough to remember it's there. So let this morning be different. Let it begin not with hurried thoughts and racing plans, but with a slow, deliberate exhale, a quiet decision to release what you cannot control and rest in the one who controls all things. You do not have to rush toward peace. You do not have to earn stillness through perfect performance. It is already offered to you freely, gently, this very moment, simply waiting for you to receive it instead of running past it. Let your heart settle. Let your mind grow quiet. Let today be carried not by anxious striving, but by the steady, unshakable peace of the one who never rushes and never fails. Before you rush into this day, stop for just one moment and let a quiet declaration begin to rise in your spirit. Not a wish, not a hope whispered timidly into the air, but a declaration rooted in the promises of God himself. Today is not simply going to happen to you. Today is going to be walked into, step by step, covered by favor you did not earn, protection you did not build, and breakthrough you did not manufacture on your own. This is not something you have to strive for with clenched fists and gritted teeth. It is something you receive, gently, the way a child receives a gift from a father who delights in giving good things to his own. There is a difference between hoping something good might happen today and declaring, in faith, that God's favor already surrounds you. Psalm 5:12 says it so plainly: "Surely, Lord, you bless the righteous. You surround them with your favor as with a shield." Not a favor that might show up if circumstances align. A favor that surrounds you, like a shield wrapped fully around your life, protecting you from things you don't even realize you needed protecting from. This morning, let that truth settle into your bones. You are not walking into today unnoticed. You are not walking into today unprotected. You are walking into today shielded by a favor that goes before you and covers you from behind. Favor often works quietly behind the scenes, in ways we don't immediately recognize. It is the door that opens more easily than expected. It is the conversation that goes better than you imagined. It is the delay that turns out to be protection, and the disappointment that turns out to be redirection towards something better. You may not see it working in the exact moment it happens, but hear this gently. Favor is not random, and it is not earned through performance. It flows from the character of a God who delights in his children, who takes pleasure in blessing those who walk closely with him. Psalm 35 reminds us that weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. Whatever difficulty you carried into yesterday, this morning carries the possibility of favor breaking through in ways you did not expect. Breakthrough is not always loud. Sometimes we imagine breakthrough as something dramatic, a sudden and undeniable shift that everyone around us notices immediately. But breakthrough often begins quietly, in the unseen places. A change of heart, a shift in perspective, a door that creaks open just slightly before it swings wide. Isaiah 43:19 says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up, do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." A new thing. Not a repeat of yesterday's struggle, not a continuation of the same weariness you've carried for weeks. A new thing, springing up even now, even in this quiet morning moment, even before you've stepped outside your door. Maybe you have been waiting for breakthrough in a specific area of your life. Your health, your finances, your family, your purpose. Maybe you have prayed for so long that hope has started to feel fragile, worn thin by waiting. But breakthrough does not require you to feel strong in order to receive it. It only requires you to keep believing, even in the tiredness, even in the waiting, that God has not forgotten the promise He placed in your heart. Habakkuk 2:3 says the vision awaits its appointed time. It hastens to the end, it will not lie. If it seems slow, wait for it. It will surely come, it will not delay. Not if it comes, it will surely come. Let that promise anchor you this morning, even if you cannot yet see how. And alongside favor and breakthrough walks protection. Quiet, steady, unshaken. Psalm 91 paints such a vivid picture of this protection, describing the one who dwells in the shelter of the Most High as resting in the shadow of the Almighty, saying of the Lord, "He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust." This is not the language of someone bracing for danger. This is the language of someone resting securely, fully aware that they are covered, fully aware that no matter what today holds, they are not walking into it exposed and unguarded. Isaiah 54:17 declares that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. Let that truth settle over you like a covering this morning, not because today will be free of challenges, but because whatever challenges arise, they will not have the final word over your life. There is a boldness that grows in the heart of someone who truly believes they are favored, protected, and destined for breakthrough. It is not arrogance. It is not pride. It is simply the quiet confidence of a child who knows their father is powerful, present, and deeply invested in their well-being. This confidence changes how you walk into a room. It changes how you respond to setbacks. It changes how you carry yourself through difficult conversations, uncertain outcomes, and unexpected challenges. You are not walking through today hoping things might work out. You are walking through today knowing that the God who holds your life is actively working on your behalf, even in ways you cannot yet see. Declaring these truths over your day is not about denying the difficulty of your circumstances. It is about refusing to let those circumstances have the final say. You can acknowledge that today may bring challenges while also declaring that God's favor surrounds you through them. You can acknowledge that breakthrough hasn't fully arrived yet, while also declaring, in faith, that it is coming, that it is closer than it feels, that the waiting is not wasted. This is the posture of mature faith, honest about the present, unwavering about the promise. Romans 8:31 asks, "What then shall we say in response to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us?" Let that question settle deeply into your spirit. If God Himself is moving on your behalf, working favor and breakthrough and protection into the fabric of your day, what power in this world can truly stand against that? So take a moment now and let faith rise, quiet but unshakable. Believe that favor is going before you into every room you enter today. Believe that breakthrough, even if it hasn't fully arrived, is closer than it has ever been. Believe that protection surrounds you like a shield, guarding you from what you can see and what you cannot. Let this belief settle not as a fleeting emotion, but as a steady conviction that shapes how you walk through the hours ahead. You are not walking into today alone, unnoticed, or unprotected. You are walking into today as someone deeply loved, covered by favor, destined for breakthrough, and shielded by a protection that never sleeps and never fails. Before you rush into this day, stop for just one moment and consider something beautiful. You were never meant to walk through this life in isolation, carrying your prayers silently, believing alone in a corner where no one else can stand with you. There is a certain kind of strength that comes when hearts agree together before God, when one person's faith reaches out and touches another's, and together something is built that neither could have built on their own. This morning is not just about you sitting quietly with God. It is about an invitation for you and me to come into agreement together, to lift our voices in the same direction, to believe for breakthrough not in isolation but side by side. Matthew 18:20 gives us such a tender promise, for where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there am I with them. Notice the intimacy in that verse. It does not say a great crowd is required. It does not say you need a stadium full of people declaring the same prayer for it to matter. 2 or 3. A small gathering, a quiet agreement between hearts. And in that gathering, however small it may seem, Jesus himself is present. This morning, as you sit here listening to these words, you are not praying alone. There is a whole community of hearts scattered across different homes, different cities, different circumstances, all pausing in this same moment to seek God together. That is not a small thing. That is sacred agreement, and sacred agreement carries weight in the Spirit. There is something powerful about knowing someone else is praying the same prayer you are praying, believing for the same breakthrough you are believing for, even if you never meet them face to face. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 reminds us that 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Faith was never meant to be carried entirely alone. Even the strongest believer needs the encouragement of others walking the same road, needs to know they are not the only one holding on to hope in the middle of a long season of waiting. This morning, let it settle into your heart that you are part of something bigger than your own individual prayer time. You are part of a community of believers choosing together to trust God with this day. Agreement in prayer is not about repeating the exact same words. It is about hearts aligning around the same truth, that God is good, that His promises are true, that He is moving on our behalf even when we cannot yet see it. When you write Amen in the comments below this video, you are not simply typing a word. You are declaring agreement. You are saying, I stand with this truth. I receive this prayer. I am adding my faith to the faith of everyone else who has paused here this morning. There is something deeply meaningful about that small act. It connects you to a wider circle of people, all seeking God in their own homes, their own quiet mornings, their own unique struggles, yet united in this one shared moment of prayer. And when you share what you are believing God for today, you are doing something even more powerful than you may realize. You are speaking your faith out loud, giving it substance, giving it shape, and inviting others to stand with you in agreement. Hebrews 10:24-25 encourages us to consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, but encouraging one another. This gathering may look different from a traditional meeting. It happens through a screen, through comments, through shared moments across distance and time, but the principle remains the same. We are meant to encourage one another, to carry each other's burdens, to celebrate each other's breakthroughs, and to stand in the gap for one another when faith feels weak. Think about how many people might read your comment today and feel less alone in whatever they are facing. Maybe someone is struggling with the exact same fear you're believing God to overcome. Maybe someone needs to see that they are not the only one waiting on breakthrough, not the only one trusting God through uncertainty. Your willingness to share, even briefly, even simply, becomes a source of encouragement to someone else's morning. This is the beauty of community built around faith. It multiplies. What starts as one person's quiet prayer becomes a chorus of agreement, each voice strengthening the others. Each testimony building faith in someone who needed exactly that reminder today. Subscribing to Return Here Tomorrow is not just about following a channel. It is about choosing to build a daily rhythm of seeking God together, choosing to start each morning grounded in His presence rather than rushing straight into the noise of the world. Consistency in prayer builds something in us over time. A deepening trust, a steadier peace, a faith that grows stronger with each new day we choose to pause and seek Him first. Psalm 143:8 says, "Let the morning bring me word of your unfailing love, for I have put my trust in you. Show me the way I should go, for to you I entrust my life." Returning here each morning becomes a small but meaningful part of that rhythm. A shared space where you and others can continue seeking His voice together, day after day, prayer after prayer. There is no pressure in this invitation, no obligation weighing down what should remain a gift. This is simply an open door, an invitation to be part of something bigger than a single video, a single prayer, a single morning. If today's words brought you peace, if they reminded you that you are not walking through your struggles alone, consider liking this video, not as a formality, but as a way of saying this mattered, this helped, this met me exactly where I needed to be met. Consider subscribing, not because a channel needs numbers, but because your mornings deserve this rhythm of returning to God's presence before the world pulls you elsewhere. And when you write Amen, when you share what you're believing God for, know that you are joining hands, in spirit, with everyone else who has paused here today. You are saying, "I am not ashamed to declare my faith. I am not too tired, too uncertain, or too weary to believe that God still moves, that He still hears, that He still answers." Whatever you write, however small it may feel, becomes part of a larger tapestry of faith being woven together, one comment, one prayer, one declaration at a time. This is agreement, this is community, this is the body of believers choosing, morning after morning, to seek God not in isolation, but together, strengthened by one another, carried by one another, believing together for the breakthrough only He can bring.